To be fair to Hunter Biden, he wouldn't want his laptop entered into evidence either. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. And to be fair to Jilly Bartlett, it's Jilly Bartlett. It goes by Jilly. Good to see you. Jilly's an actor and an improviser and writer and been on many shows, and we'll get into that as well. So much to get into, but good to meet you, Jilly.
You too. I saw you once through a window.
Let's talk about that. Where was I?
I was in your bushes. No, I'm just kidding. You were actually here.
I was here.
And I was like, oh my God, I want to meet him so bad. I was doing something here. And you were going on a fishing trip.
To Alaska.
Yes.
Oh. That's the only fishing trip I've ever been on.
Oh my God, really?
I've narrowed it down to the only fishing trip I've ever been on.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, I'm scared of him and I need to meet him. And there he goes.
And you were looking through the window in the studio?
Just like a peeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what were you doing here?
I don't know if can I say what I was doing that pilot for you?
Doing a pilot?
Yeah, the car one.
Doing the car pilot.
Can I tell?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the Maniac Garage?
Oh, you're doing voiceover, acting stuff on Maniac Garage.
Here. We did
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, and my kid is so into cars. And
oh, yeah?
So I took 1,000 pictures when
It's a
I was
good
here.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they're into cars. How old's your kid?
He's 5, but dude, I mean, it's like he's like a party trick.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I walked him. We went to this place called it's like this farm. What's it called? I don't know. But there's this cool old guy named Luke, and Arlo is just standing in the parking lot, and he's going like Kia Sorrento, Chevy Malibu. Like he's just saying
He may be Rain Man.
Yeah, he might be. The jury's still out. It's okay though.
Yeah, you do. You start recognizing cars by headlights and taillights
he's
and
doing this at
shapes
3.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Is
you
that really a good sign? I like it.
It probably means straight, and it's a
Right.
subject we'll get into in a minute. It probably doesn't mean gay. It probably
Which would be
means
hard
straight.
for me because if he was gay, then I'd be the only woman he ever loved, which would be very good for me.
Yeah, I think I wonder if there. All right, let's break this down.
Okay.
I oftentimes think that people who have kids with, let's just say, Down syndrome,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
They get something out of it. They get
Okay.
this thing that loves them unconditionally all the time. Whereas, by the time my sister was 12 and a half, the bloom was off the rose.
I know what you
She
mean.
hated her mom. She hated her dad. She hated everybody. And then at some point, they they come around a little bit, and then they hate you later when they become an adult, and then they have kids, and then they go, how could you have treated me this way? Now that I'm a mother, I can't believe this is how...
Well,
It's
right
just
now he's still very creepy
It's
with
a
me.
long yin and a yang with how they feel about their moms. But you get the Down syndrome kid, that's your teddy bear for life. Mm-hmm. And you get you get some points, you know what I mean? You get to go through society. Look, you get to leave work whenever you want because Tommy, your Down syndrome son's having a tough day, and you get to leave, and there's no questions asked. And
Well, I was very bad in school, so also...
Maybe gay is that. Maybe being the only woman that this human ever really loves.
Well, I used to do this show called The Pump and Dump Show. It was a show for moms. Actually got canceled during the pandemic. And it was like a 2-woman comedy show where we sang songs and stuff. And we had a song called, something like, I Hope My Son Is Gay. And all the women in the audience were just real quiet, which I love. I love it when the audience doesn't laugh. I don't know why I get
You
this
should come
thrill.
to one of my shows. It's awesome. It's an hour.
No, doesn't it feel?
silence.
It's so exciting, and no one's laughing, and they're just all staring at us, and then all of a sudden, one woman will be like, "Yeah," and then they're all like, ah, and they're so drunk at these shows because it's like their night out. It's real gross and amazing.
So, what if you had a Down syndrome son who was gay? He would never leave your side.
Well, that'd be a TLC show.
He would always love you. You'd get a TLC show out of it.
Yeah.
Unicorn.
Yeah, you'd be in great shape. You get all the points when you went out because the intersectional points between gay and Down syndrome.
If my baby was gay, like I said, I'd love it. But he's definitely, like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and you feel eyes on you. I don't know if you get, and I'll just open my eyes and he's like, I love you, mommy.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, wow, hi. I love you too. Or else he goes, pee in the potty. And I'm like, what? Arlo, you can, pee in the potty. I'm like, okay, let's go potty. Adam's like, well, that he has
He
Down
can't
syndrome.
just wet his bed like a regular 5-year-old.
No, he has
It's gotta
dignity,
roust
Adam.
you. All right, so speaking of this subject,
Yeah.
there was a hit piece in CNN, an op-ed piece attacking me.
Yeah.
Moi, that's gay for me, because I was anti-gay.
I thought it was French.
Scared of gay. French and gay are basically the same language.
That's pretty true.
So I'll give people a refresher on what is this woman's name who wrote this article? We'll figure it out. It's somewhere at the top. She wrote an op-ed for CNN, and she basically attacked me. Well, she attacked
Just recently?
Hemmer.
Recently?
as recently as yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
She attacked Seinfeld first, and then she went after me, and then she went after Bill Maher. But we got into it yesterday, and she sort of attacks me for being closed-minded and not gay-friendly and so on and so forth. And she, of course, cherry-picks things I said to construct some sort of ransom note of
with
things
like letters
I think.
from a magazine.
Yeah, it's literally what they do. I don't know why they fucking call themselves journalists. You just pick stuff out of context and then you put together a mosaic of hatred.
Well, that could happen to anyone, and not even famous people. If you
They
do
can
that.
do it to anybody,
Yeah.
but I'm saying this is your business. You call yourself a journalist.
So what did she say?
All right, Dawson will tell you what she said about me, but it triggered a memory. I was like, I think I wrote a chapter, or at least a page in one of my books that was pro-gay, but let's hear it.
Carolla's panic is barefaced. No dad wants his son to go gay, he writes in an early chapter. Though he insists he supports gay rights, he does so fretfully. I'm open-minded, but closed-behinded.
Oh my God.
His hand-wringing over metrosexuals, a now dated term for heterosexual men with good grooming habits picked up from gay men, is a reminder that the call for a return to 1950s-style masculinity is built on an anti-feminist and anti-gay politics.
All right, so
Let's break it down.
and then I started thinking, I went, I've written a few books, and I have a recollection of praising the gay community in one of them. And I'm like, well, this duplicitous bitch didn't read any of that shit, or she cherry-picked it.
I like how much this hurt you, because that shows that you do not feel this way.
Not hurt at all.
Well, you're
Zero in the
you're
hurt
angry.
department.
You're angry.
I'm tired of people fucking lying who write articles. That's what I'm tired of. I don't care. First off, this bitch needs to know that Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Maher, and Adam Carolla do not give two shits about this article. I find it funny, fascinating, and interesting, but I also don't like this place we're entering where you just cherry-pick things and then you assassinate someone's character. And if I hadn't been called homophobic and racist 200,000 times, maybe I would care.
Right.
But maybe I care. Maybe I care. Maybe I think my kids are going to read this and think something ill of me. So I then went and found my book that she read from, but she left a lot of shit out. All right, so here is from my first book in 50 Years Will All Be Chicks.
Yes.
All right.
Before you call GLAD, let me say this. I have no problem with gay people. I'm open-minded, but closed behind it.
Okay, so she read that. All right, then what?
Come on, that's a good joke.
I agree.
I love the gays.
Oh, she left the next sentence out. She left the next one out.
Well, she thought that joke was too good. Just closed the book after that.
All right.
But
All
that
they
joke
do-
wasn't even mean. It was about his butt.
All they do is pay taxes for schools they don't use, prisons they don't inhabit, and to repair potholes their peach-colored Mini Cooper convertibles don't create. Meanwhile, they rarely use government programs, and they don't crap out more kids that use up resources. In fact, they gobble up all the world's unwanted kids. They recycle like hell, their cars always have a fresh coat of carnauba wax, and the lawns of their houses look like someone took tweezers and nasal hair clippers and finally manicured them. Their homes look like country clubs. You don't see the gay guy with an El Camino up on blocks and a sofa rotting on his porch. Those are the Jews. Oh, confused? I thought you didn't buy into stereotypes. The gays take care of their homes and their community. As a group, they care about the environment. They are very civically minded and non-violent. You don't need to worry about a gay guy putting a knife in your back at the ATM. Plus, they leave all the chicks for me. hold this page up and high five it. You want to live in the gay part of town. If you live in LA, all you need to know about the gays versus other groups can be determined by a drive down Santa Monica Boulevard. Santa Monica Boulevard is a long, filthy, graffiti-covered stretch of asphalt that cuts through the heart of Los Angeles, except for one 2-mile stretch that has medians with green grass, spotless sidewalks, and happy couples strolling with laptops and lapdogs.
All right. So I did an entire soliloquy, a love letter to gays and an homage to gays, and this bitch pulls out one thing, and then she had the information.
It's all there.
It was easy to go, I'd like to throw Adam Carolla under the bus with all the gay talk, except for I just read a page from his book, and evidently he's a huge fan. And he articulated it, and he laid it out, and you can't argue with it. But no, I am going to soldier forward and attack this person's being.
That's awesome. The fourth sentence is, I love the gays. Right. She obviously saw it. She had to.
Maybe she just didn't like that you said the gays.
The gays. I know, you put they in front of, you put the in front of blacks and Jews.
It's funnier.
I know,
that's why you do it.
Everything is the funniest. Yeah. Everything, you have to go for funny if you're writing a funny book. But so this is where we're at in journalism.
I like that you wrote all that,
I wrote all that 16 years ago.
Yeah. And
what the fuck are we talking about here? Why am I on your list? I wrote it. I put it in a book and I published it. Why am I on your list, bitch?
Well, I'm here to say
Jesus
Adam Carolla
Christ.
loves gay guys.
Oh, God. And I was starting to change my mind about women, but then I read this one. And now I'm right back to 1952.
I'm going to change your mind.
Let's do it. All right. I want to talk about something that I think it's going to be near and dear to you.
What?
You walked in here, you said it was a little warm, right?
No, I was having some kind of weird lady hot flash that had nothing to do with the air conditioning.
Don't say lady, just say hot flash.
Flash.
It's considered offensive to. All right. So you're having the hot flash, right?
Yeah, the hot flash.
Now, this is good because I wrote something down on my way in, which is
I'm scared.
The thermostat here is set to 70. It is 70 degrees. Mm-hmm. And when Drew was in here earlier, and I forgot to turn the air on. And it got to 74 degrees. Mm-hmm. And Drew announced after the show, God, it's so hot in here. Like, it's so thick. Like, what's going on? I said, I didn't turn the air on. I'll turn the air on. Got it down to 70. I was watching a commercial last night for like California Flex Alert or whatever. They're like, put that thermostat at 78. Are you fucking nuts? That's an easy bake oven. I cannot sleep with 78 degrees. And by the way, biologically, scientifically,
you're supposed to do 69 degrees.
You're right.
You're supposed to. But listen,
prove it.
Adam Carolla.
I know.
I live in a room.
It's supposed to be cool.
Yes.
78 is tossing and turning all night.
I sleep in a bed with a man who wears those Darth Vader mask, the CPAP.
Yeah.
And my kid and a big farting pit bull, and I'm so fucking hot every night. And I go, you guys are sweating me.
Yeah,
get off me.
They're trying to
Everybody
get info.
Get off me. I have a cut on my forehead right now from my kid's toenail. You know, it's like their limbs are all over you.
Yeah.
And the dog's farting, and it's my husband. Now he's changing it like I'm like, Mike, it's fucking hot in here.
You got the one man in the world that wants it hot.
Yes.
What the F?
We get in a lot of fights about it.
Holy shit! I've never met that dude.
And he's like, it's cold. I'm like, dude. First of all,
what's this guy do?
You're gonna really like him.
He runs like a scented candle shop on Melrose or something.
What?
No, he's not a diesel mechanic.
I feel like, Adam.
Well, what?
Well, he's not a diesel mechanic, but he is. He does love cars, and he rides a motorcycle. He used to until he got a terrible accident and he's a guitar player. But not like how every fucking guy says, I'm a guitar player. And they have the guitar in their living room to like when they have a date.
Wants it warm in the bedroom.
Dude.
It's fucking insane.
I'm just laying there and someone touches me like with their hair. And I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, okay, but
I
here's
hate
my
you guys, all of you.
Bigger question.
Yeah.
How about California gets their fucking grid shit together so that we, in 2024, can have charging stations for our electric cars and run air conditioning during the summer instead of telling everyone not to use their air conditioner? That doesn't feel very progressive to
I'm
me.
never
It doesn't
not
feel
gonna
California.
use it.
I'm not going to not
I
use
have,
it
like,
either.
boob
But
sweat. Like I'm at a time in my life. I had a baby late. That does a shit ton to your hormones. I'm like, no, I don't care.
in 78, like, look, if you wanted to go...
Like, that's dewy.
If you wanted to go 73, maybe a conversation. 78, that's a deal breaker.
Deal breaker.
No sleep with
No.
78. They're like, Flex Alert, turn it to 78, and then just jump in the bed. You happy biracial couple, just go to bed. Like, not at 78. I'm fucking tossing
You
and turning.
should see me in bed. It's fucking weird. I have like this like heat up mask for my like eye problem, and then I have like this red like I have a lot of like things on me anyway to try to just preserve. You know, and a hot bed's not going to help.
Did we play the song Tossing and Turning on this show?
No.
And you know it, Chris?
No. I
You
don't.
do.
What tossing Nana? What is it from the 50s?
You're a little off on
Yeah,
tossing and turning, but it is. We were talking about with Gene Simmons, great songs.
Stagger Lee.
I love it. My dad
in
was a doo-wop aficionado. I know it all.
Listen, it's raw. Tossing and turning. That's what you're doing at 78 degrees.
78.
I never sleep.
No, not. It's got to be cool. Listen.
Help me.
No, you help me.
Okay.
I want to have this argument for every human being I've ever shared a bed with in my entire life.
Okay.
You can do something about being cold. You can get another
Thank
fucking
you.
blanket.
Yes!
Layer
I
up.
can't do anything about being hot.
This is
do you
my argument
understand?
every night.
I can't strip my skin off. Get another fucking blanket and put it on the fucking bed, you fucking pioneers.
Getting hot
Yeah.
now.
Fucking work it out. I can't do anything. I'm hot, is what I'm telling you. Put fucking sweatpants and a sweat jacket on and put a fucking cover on the bed if you can't handle
I'm gonna
the
tell you.
69 Arctic degrees that the room is.
And we're from Chicago. I'm going to tell you something that's going to piss you off so
I can't
bad.
do
Mike,
anything.
Mike, I'm going to throw you under the bus right now. I love you though. He duct taped the air vent. 3 of them. Because he said, it goes on me. I go, dude,
Oh,
why am I do you want to know why I'm turning the air up so high?
I can't handle the movement of air is too much.
Duct taped the vents.
Oh, this puss. Listen.
Yeah.
No, he's
I'm
not
not
a
saying
puss.
walk away. I'm
Listen.
saying run.
No,
I'm saying
listen.
run.
We're
Well,
saying
I can't because I slip on my sweat.
You'll slip on your sweat as you jump onto the hardwood.
I can't run.
It's like with all the requirements. The air. I can feel the air. I can feel it's cold. I don't know.
Isn't there some weird
By the way,
thing?
they open the windows and they get like a breeze comes in and it's nice.
I love the open
people
windows.
Like it.
Love the open window.
But isn't there something like if the air is on you, you can get some weird paralysis, or am I making this up? Like if like a
That's what Mike would say.
Oh, I know, Mike. Come on, it's
All right.
okay. I love you. Take the duct tape off.
All right. Duct tape up the vent. He may be trying to kill you. Do not rule that out. I don't
Okay.
know this guy, but
Well-
when the duct tape comes out,
Well,
that's a man.
it's
That's
just-
a man that could be.
duct tape is scary anyway. You
I
use
agree.
it.
I mean, at least he's using it on ducting.
Oh, okay.
You know, to be
purpose.
fair to
That's
Mike,
ducting.
most people do not use duct tape on ducting.
Yeah.
They use
Percentage
it-
of duct tape it gets used on ducting.
I would say in the Middle East, almost none. It's all used
God.
for abducting camera crews. You know what I mean?
Human skin.
I would say if you live in a society where percentage-wise most of your duct tape goes to actual ducting work, you're living in a pretty damn good society. Like, here's the way we do it. You ready? Each roll has like 500 feet
Okay.
of duct tape. Certain percentage of that could go to putting it over people's mouths who you've abducted and you're taking out to the woods to kill.
Sure.
Or to binding
Makes
the
sense.
hands of film crews in the Middle East or whatever. But if you live in a society where like 94% of the actual duct tape sold goes to ducting related jobs and you're living in a utopia, and now I'm taking it to plywood. If you have plywood and 78% of it is used to board up things or to stop vandals or looters or, to block windows or something,
That's not
that's bad. If
structural.
you're
You're living a good
using it
life.
as subflooring or shear wall or sheathing for a roof, then you're living in a utopia. You find me the state that uses the most plywood for the plywood intended purposes and the most duct tape for ducting work, and I will show you a goddamn utopia.
That's a very interesting theory, Andrew.
Powerful.
Yeah, here.
What about the guy that I dated?
By the way, Mike is throwing the ratio off, although it is ducting. He's not using
Mike's
it as God intended it.
He does things by the book. So
All right, you dated somebody.
I dated somebody who, and I don't know what this says about me, but well, the passenger side window was broken. And so he duct taped the window.
Not good.
And I would have to sit
Throwing
the
the
floor
ratio off.
in Chicago.
Oh, it's also white
And it was
trash
so
shit
cold.
too.
Yeah, white
it's poor
trash
people shit.
Duct tape on cars, not a good sign.
I was like, what am I doing? Oh, I'm making my dad even more mad.
I will
dated this guy.
I will bet you in like Tiburon, California, it's like 97% of duct tape is used toward duct tape jobs. And not
Tiburon
windows.
sounds like a beautiful
Yes,
rainbow
it is.
place.
That's what I'm saying. Not on the sides. And you know the other one? Okay, I got 3.
Okay.
Plywood's got to be used as God intended it, not to block off looters from liquor stores. Okay. Duct tape has to be used on ducting. And vans need to be used to move plumbing equipment and furniture.
Not to draw a wolf on the side with a lady by the moon.
Not something that says Lovetron and rainbow tape, and not abducting more CNN crews. Nothing nefarious.
White vans scare the living shit out of me.
Picking up kids and taking them from the border. No.
Nope.
Just van as God meant the van. We live in a society where vans are doing what vans are doing, tape's doing what tape's doing, and plywood's doing what plywood's doing. That is a fucking utopia.
Yeah.
I say Tiburon, California, just on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge. You're not going to see one custom shitty 70s tricked out van with some guy, some semi-homeless pedophile toking weed in the parking lot. You're not going to see duct tape used on cars, waterbed in the back, shag carpet on the ceiling. You're not going to see any of that except for its intended purposes, and there's going to be no plywood on the front of the liquor store.
Adam, I really like a society without vans for personal use. Like a van just to drive. I like a van to move stuff. I
don't
want a van.
When I'm in charge, you're allowed to have a van for personal use, but I need to know what the use is.
Right.
You don't get just to have a van.
You're not just going to take it and sleep under the stars and paint a mural on it with, a lady that you wish you looked like. I love those ladies that have the picture of like the beautiful siren as their Facebook profile picture. You're like, oh no.
No, I got to make an exception because Dexter from The Offspring drives a van exclusively.
But he has all of his equipment.
No.
Who, Dexter from The Offspring? What's
They're
that?
a little past taking the van down to the
Schlepping
troubadour. I got my dad's plumbing van.
I don't know. Dexter from The Offspring? You mean the band?
You guys have to share a seat.
Yes, from the horror movie. No, from the band. Yes, Dexter from The Offspring drives a van.
Yeah, but maybe sometimes he does move instruments, Adam. We don't know.
I do know.
Okay.
He does not need a van. He goes on tour with semi-trucks and stuff, but he does drive a custom van.
Well, he helps his friends move. I don't know.
I think he's just a rich guy. He likes a custom van, man.
I don't consider that a van.
Maybe in the old days he was driving a van so much. That's all he knows now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the kidnapper vans with a
windows.
with a wolf on the side.
No, but you understand, I can't make decrees that citizens can't own vans without fucking. This is the problem with over legislation. I can't say that I'd have to confiscate Dexter's van because I said no van.
I just don't consider that. To me, that looks like a rich
Well, let's
guy's
call it a
car.
van because it's a van, because it's registered as a van, and then let's go along on this journey where we go, what's the use? Why do you need this van?
I would say, because I'm not smart about cars, I would go, oh, that's an SUV. But that's as much as I know. I wouldn't say van.
Yeah, that's a van.
Okay, but it is a van, so you can keep saying it's not a van, but it's a van. So I'm not sure what you want me to do.
I don't
You're
know.
right.
Does he have a big
I
family?
like it.
You're
I don't
right.
want
It's
it
a
to be
two-seater
outlawed.
sports car.
This van thing could be a judgment of whether or not you live in a good neighborhood. How many vans are in your neighborhood, and how many of them are owned and painted plumber, electrician? Versus how many abandoned vans on the street
Oh,
people
God.
living in,
No.
or custom vans.
All right. Well, we're straying a little bit over the argument over the definition of a van,
But we're
I'm
getting
saying,
into a lot of weird stuff.
I'm
I like
saying
it.
a van, duct tape, and plywood. When you go to Tiburon, California, it's all used as God intended it to be used, and that is
Right.
a utopia.
That's kind of great.
I think it works. I think the math works.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
I don't know what the average price of a home in Tiburon. I
think it's pretty expensive. It's Marin County,
You
right?
go right
Yeah.
across the Golden
I've
Gate
never even
Bridge.
heard of it.
Oh, it's utopia,
Wow.
man. Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Tiburon. Sounds
Cleanest
like
duck jobs.
a fantasy movie, like Return to Tiburon.
Yeah, return to Tiburon. Yeah, it's. Listen, I think a house has got to be running. You know,
Like a Malfi light.
it's got to be like $2,000
Oh, wow.
bucks a square foot. Or
Wait, that's
something.
it?
Well, we're looking at a flattering picture of Tiburon. Well, it's right on the
Looks
other
like
side of
Italy.
the Golden Gate Bridge, so we can do that math, everybody, right?
We're looking at a wide shot of Tiburon. I don't see a single van.
No vans.
If it's not the most expensive, it's some of the most expensive real estate in California.
Yeah. And you know where the nicest real estate in California is? San Quentin. San Quentin is spectacular real estate. You shouldn't feel sorry for any prisoner that ever goes to San Quentin. They have a much better view than you do.
It's the Ritz-Carlton of prison.
It is, and somehow they're going to have to reclaim it and turn it into condos or something.
Oh, wow.
What is the average price for a house in Tiburon? So we got $6 million, 4-bedroom, 3,000 square. So we got 3,500 square foot for $6 million.
Oh, my God.
So
Who
we're,
lives there?
We're at $1,500 a square foot. I mean, I don't think you're finding anything for under $3 million. You got 3.8 for 2.5 or 2,500 square foot. Oh yeah. All right. No vans other than the people using service vans to service your palatial home in Tiburon.
And the
Yeah.
jail.
Yeah. The jail
When they
is
bring the
further along.
convicts
In the van.
in the van.
Yeah.
See what I did?
Yeah, you took it back to the van.
Yep.
All right, I'm not going to tell Dexter what you said.
Oh my God, Dexter! Listen, I it's a compliment because you're a man of the people if you drive a van, right?
I look at it as a move. Like it's kind of. I look at a guy driving a custom van like Dexter's, like I look at a guy with a fanny pack. I go, this guy's secure. He knows what he wants. He's utilitarian. He doesn't judge all you want, but he's the guy who, when he pulls into the Costco or whatever and it's not opening for an hour, he's the guy who gets to go to the back of his van and spread out in luxury.
You're gonna wish you were
and
him.
wait it out. You sweat it out in your Prius. Yeah, I mean, he knows what he wants and he knows how to get it. But I'm not going to tell him the part about you thinking he needs to move band equipment.
Oh my God!
And, once you sell over 10 million records, you get roadies for that shit.
Oh, I know that. My husband was in a band. Yeah.
Oh yeah? Was
Yeah.
it as successful as The Offspring?
Well, he toured with like famous people as like
really?
a hired gun.
Oh, guitar gun.
Yeah.
And was eventually tossed out of Santana because it was too cold
Yeah.
in the auditorium, and he
Duct
kept
tape.
complaining.
The vent.
What bands did he play with?
Well, he went on the road with Liz Phair.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of 90s. What was that one band? I was pregnant and I went to their show. Oh, God. It was like this cute 90s band.
Oh, I
Kinda
got
like
it.
The
I got
Offspring.
it.
They were just here a few years ago. Oh, God. I should call Mike right now or text him and go, what was that band that you
One
guys...
out with the band that we would know from
Yeah,
the 90s.
yeah.
Do you remember they had a hit song?
Yeah, like it was like a sweet. It wasn't Matthew sweet, but it was like kind of felt like that vibe.
Well, it's all right. I got another
Shit,
song.
We'll think of it.
Yeah.
But now he's a music editor because he's like nobody wants to hire a 50-year-old like classic rock guitar player. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Everybody has a studio in their home.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
don't do session work anymore. You know what I mean?
Nah,
it takes
I
all
know.
the soul out of it.
No, I agree. We just heard tossing and turning, for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Mark Geragos is going to hit us up at some point. And
Yeah,
we're
he
gonna
wants to talk about that video where he was on a panel with Piers Morgan.
Yeah, which I guess we could play that before he calls in, perhaps,
Yeah.
and see what he has to. Then he can chime in, but we can
They're
front
talking
load
about
it.
Trump being convicted, and Michael Knowles from the Daily Wire was basically saying that he didn't commit any crimes technically. And he was talking to Francesca Fiorentini, who is a progressive activist / journalist / comedian.
Looks like she's standing in Tiburon.
She does.
By the way, because she has a Golden Gate Bridge right behind her, and it's heading toward Tiburon? No, it's heading toward San Francisco. Oh, whatever. Here we go. So
this is Piers asking her, what are the crimes that Trump committed?
Well, this is Michael Knowles asking her, right?
No, it's Piers.
Oh, I thought Michael Knowles.
Michael Knowles will chime in.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's just ask quickly before I go to Kevin. Francesca, just on that point, what crime did Trump commit?
It was financial crimes. It was white collar crimes. That is exactly what they charged him. He was convicted on.
What was the crime?
It's New York State law.
I understand. What was the crime?
It is New.
Francesca,
I don't even like it. It is
hang on,
literally he just got convicted on 34 counts.
Francesca, what was the crime?
Of like cooking the actual books.
What was the crime?
You are not allowed. So you are not allowed to use your own financial, like your own money to pay off somebody, and then he logged it as something different. He logged it as just a regular payment, but he was actually paying off this porn star to keep quiet, which, if he hadn't been running for president, would not have mattered, but he was, and so it impacted campaign finance laws in New York State. Okay, that is what Juan Merchan just oversaw this. Alvin Bragg brought these charges because Michael Cohen, his sister, was already sentenced to 3 years to do it.
Let's just go before Kevin. I'll be very, very, very patient. I will come to you.
Look, I'm no expert. Let me just say, hang on.
Michael,
you are no expert.
By the way.
Campaign finance law is a federal law.
Hang on.
Anyway.
Yeah, nobody knows. But it's a weird. So we're living in a kind of dangerous time where. Then he gets convicted on 34 counts, and then somebody goes, well, what did he do? And they go, he was convicted on 34 counts. It's like, yeah, I know. We know that part, but we got to get to the part where how did he get convicted on 34 counts? Look, if you took this script, like let's just flip the script for a second. Mm-hmm. So every single pundit and all the ladies from The View and all the people, Adam Schiff and all the people on the left and AOC, it's all, no one is above the law. Justice was served, and this was a jury of his peers, and we have a system, and the system worked. All right, I think that's a fair statement from any of the ladies on The View or any AOC types or squad or anyone who leans a little bit left. Right? Correct. Okay. So let's just flip the script on them completely, like on AOC and the ladies from The View.
Oh, boy.
Let's just say this wasn't a trial that took place in New York City. Let's just say it took place in Alabama. And let's just say it wasn't Trump, but it was Hillary Clinton. And let's just say the judge was a contributor to the Trump campaign, and the judge had a daughter who was in Republican politics and raising money for PACs for Republican policies. And the DA of the town in Alabama announced he was ran on going after Hillary Clinton, and then they brought all the hillbillies in from Alabama, and she was convicted on 34 counts, guilty. Do you think Sonny Hostin and AOC and the rest, Adam Schiff, the rest of the people would go, that's just our legal system. You have to trust it. The jurors have spoke. Those were her peers. Those were Hillary Clinton's peers in Selma, and they spoke, and we have to respect it. And by the way, Hillary Clinton shouldn't be eligible for anything because she's been convicted of 34 counts. Do you think those same people would be as passionate about that?
Not only do I not think that, I know that wouldn't happen.
Okay, so if that's an impossibility, which it is, it's a hypothetical, but it's an impossibility that they would react the same way, then they cannot be that startled or upset when the other side acts that way about this.
But wouldn't everybody have just been happy that Hillary got laid?
Got laid?
Yeah, you're saying that if
she fucked a porn star? Yeah. She was with Peter North?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I would watch that.
Or the hedgehog.
Oh, Ron Jeremy.
Yeah.
I mean, who?
Isn't his name the hedgehog?
I'm pretending like I don't know porn stars.
Yeah, but everybody would just be really happy
The
for
sad
her.
part is Ron Jeremy's in prison right now, and Hillary Clinton's walking the streets.
Insane.
Am I right, people?
Peter North was the decorator, right?
Yeah. Did you know that?
No, but
The
my
hedgehog was
husband
Ron
and his
Jeremy.
gross perverted friends talked about some guy that used to count down. He used to go like 5, 4, 3, 2,
Oh, really?
1. Yeah.
He
you
did?
Nice heads up.
I don't
that
know.
guy.
Yeah.
The astronaut.
Some guy used to count down.
Blast off!
See where I took this?
We have ignition.
Wow.
All I could think about when you said that was
husband,
Hillary.
I mean, your man's a big fan of the astronaut and the decorator and the hedgehog.
And duct tape.
Wow.
No, he doesn't like the hedgehog. He doesn't like all that stuff.
Yeah,
But I
he's
just
home
remember
watching it
I've
right
known
now.
him for so many years that I just remember when we were all just friends in Chicago, they would talk about this stuff, and I just remember it because I have a steel trap. Okay,
The decorator.
the decorator. Who's that guy?
That's Peter North.
Oh,
Now, here's something funny. If I was
are there
Peter.
male porno stars anymore?
I don't know that there are any stars, but I think Peter North did a couple of gay films at some point. I'm pretty sure.
I think you're right because you may have asked him about it, or
Well, it's all
or
the same.
told
It's
not
just
to ask.
it's all the same. It's just
no,
a job,
it's
right?
No, it's not all the same. It's zero the same. It's the same. Remember that time you thought that van wasn't a van?
Yeah.
This is the same as that.
Okay.
I'll file this under that.
Point taken.
It is not all the same. But here's all
Wait, so
I'm
if I close
saying.
my eyes, it wouldn't.
It's all sex for money.
He performed as a bottom of the name Matt Ramsey. Okay.
Ramsey.
Right. Now, here's all I'm saying. Because guys like to bust other guys' balls. Speaking of
Yeah.
Peter North, right?
Right.
And I like Peter North. I worked with the man.
Shut up. What do you
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like what?
We did a short film for the Man Show.
You did?
Yeah, many years ago.
Lawrence of my labia?
This one was called. That's good. This one was porn fantasy camp. I think it was. But anyway, we don't have to
Oh,
delve
wow.
into that. I just know him. I found him to be professional.
Okay.
So here's how you fuck with Peter North if you're Peter North's friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? He has the nickname the Decorator.
Okay.
Do you know why he has that name?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
I
You
think
know.
I,
You
well,
know.
He produces a lot of product.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
Now, he's also done some gay porn. And if I were one of his buddies and I wanted to fuck with him, every time we went out, we ran into someone, I'd go, you know why they call him the Decorator, right? Because he's gay. He does gay stuff. That's what decorators
but
do.
we don't know. Maybe he and all his friends are like, maybe they're just
And
like,
he'd go,
oh, that's
no,
Peter. He'll
called
fuck
the
anything.
Decorator for totally different reason. No. Gays decorate. That's why they call you the Decorator. Let it be known. Tell everyone in the bar.
Okay.
You didn't know gays
I wish I
decorated?
could go to the bar again.
You can't?
No. I haven't
Too
been out
hot?
of my house in 5 years.
Really?
Really?
Why?
I don't know. I had a pandemic baby.
Mm.
And then, like, everybody who had a baby that was under 5 was like, what the fuck's happening? Because none of the, like, little kids could get vaccinated. So everyone was like, we didn't know what we were dealing with. So I just stayed home, basically. And then, I don't know. I just got sucked into, I mean, I love my baby. But I just, it's been 5 years of
But-
kind of like going like, who am I? What's happening? But like, it's weird. Right at this 5-year mark, things start to be kind of, the universe is like, dude, get out of your house. It's okay. Go feel the sunshine.
I think the pandemic screwed a lot of people up.
And the pandemic babies are super weird. They're like, my son was like, Mommy, why doesn't the dog have a mask on? You know what I mean? Like, because that's all
Really?
they ever knew. So
Yeah.
having a kid born to the pandemic is it's really weird shit.
We definitely damaged some kids
Yeah.
and some relationships and some adults. And that's why the people that did it need to be punished. And that's what I've said many, many, many times. But people don't like that.
And then there was a
I'm like,
strike.
that's the only way I like it. Yeah, and then there was a strike.
Yeah.
I was out there every day giving those guys pizzas
You
and
were?
marching. Hell yeah. I
That's
don't
so
feel
awesome.
it. I want showbiz people to get paid more.
Thank you for that, man.
Yeah, it's not fair
it
that
was
they only
always
get
good when
3
we saw
times
somebody
what
like
roofers
you
get. Yeah, I was out there
come
handing
out.
out pizzas.
Oh, man.
No, I don't give a fuck about those people. I don't care. I don't like any of the unions or the guilds or
Oh,
anything.
okay. You were just messing. I'm
Yeah,
very
they're
gullible.
assholes.
I'm very naive.
Yeah. My whole thing is like, the whole thing about the guilds is they force you to join them, which and the unions, that should be illegal.
And then they
you
take away
shouldn't
your health
have to
insurance
join
when you don't
a
make.
union. They take your first check and they just go, that's your union dues. I'm like, why is that legal? Why should I don't want to be in your union? That's not an option? No, it is not. And I don't like that. And I've always said it.
Well, the only thing good about it is that you don't get into shady stuff because it's kind of vetted. And for me, I've been in like voiceover gigs where I'm like, am I doing ADR for a porn? Like it's like that weird. I'm like, what is it? It's like a lot of anime stuff. And
Oh,
I'm like,
really?
Yeah, and I'm like doing 17 characters on the show.
What does it sound like? What would a voice
mean,
sound like?
listen, I've done like this last show was so weird. I probably shouldn't say that, but it was called Scissor 7.
Mm-hmm.
They'll never hire me again.
Sounds a little lesbo.
And I did like a masculine
hold
chicken,
on.
and then I did like these like little like island girls
If you're
going
doing
like
scissor, you need an even number.
Scissor 7, Scissor 8.
Yeah, scissor 8 or scissor 6.
But it was like
will
in
work.
some guy's house
Six.
for Netflix. It was a dubbing job.
What voice were you doing? Let's hear
So
it.
I don't know. There was like 20 voices, but listen, it's like it seemed on the up and up. My agent got it from me. I auditioned. Yeah.
Scissor 7.
And then one
anime.
of the times that I recorded, it was like in a weird house, like in a basement, and they're like, "Okay, Jill, now do this character too." And it was like this island girl, and she was just going like, "Oh, like," and I'm like, "Is this really a real cartoon?" And they're like, "Yeah, you're okay." And I'm like, "Oh God, I feel like I need to take a shower."
Am I right to be repulsed by anime and not trust anyone who's into it? 'Cause
I don't even
fucking hate
understand it. I never
don't
even
get
watched
it. And I don't like it.
I
and
don't
it feels
get it
weird
either.
to me.
Me too.
It's a weird hobby.
And I did like I don't know how many episodes of the show because dogs got to eat, right? I mean, I got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But
Not
but
the air,
I didn't.
Not the air conditioning bill.
Listen, we don't have a high air conditioning bill. No, but I watched 1 second of it and I was like, oh God, this is so weird. I don't get it.
It's all weird. I don't like it. I don't like any of that Pokemon shit.
I don't
like
either.
any of it.
It seems so
It's all
devilly.
weird. Yeah,
But
devilly.
the people who are into it are really, really into it.
Yeah.
I know. I told my son when he was like 11, he got into Pokemon. I was like, just don't do it.
What is
It's
it?
like everyone's doing. I was like, fine, but
My
talk to
son
me in a few years when
got
you're
the
embarrassed.
Pokemon, like this shaky thing that
It's such
I
a
don't.
weird-
What is it?
Listen,
Pokeball?
What is Pokemon? It's a guy, like a creature,
They're little creatures that you have.
I don't
fight for
trust
you.
it.
or those
It's a lot of
Furbies.
fun.
Oh, Byron seems like
Byron.
I love anime.
I don't.
You do?
Yeah.
Did you see Scissor 7?
Sorry, no. That's not my type of anime.
He had to draw the line
I kind
somewhere.
of think it's the bottom barrel
Do you?
of anime.
But you also play video games, right? Which I don't.
Yes.
I don't understand. But you don't have a mountain bike, right?
No, but I do have a punching bag and a home gym.
Oh, that's good. All right, that's something.
I have a punching bag.
Yeah.
trying to be
His
a
name is
hero.
Mike.
Shut up. I knew you were going to say that I just set myself up.
You set yourself up. All right. Maybe your phone's going or somebody. I don't know. Maybe.
turned my phone
Oh, yeah, it's Mark. Mark's calling you. Yeah, talk to Mark. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with Mark Geragos right after this. What should we have for dinner? A question that always ends with spending too much or takeout or delivery. No, now there's Home Chef. Fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes delivered to your doorstep. Over 30 options a week covering a variety of dietary needs. I'll tell you my favorite, smoky peppercorn beef cheddar burgers. Oh, hear that, smoky. Anytime you hear smoky, I got it. But if I hear burger and smoky together, I am on it like a duck on a June bug. Classic kits with pre-proportioned ingredients, speedy recipes, ready in less than 30 minutes, oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients and microwave meals in minutes. Save an average of $86 per month on groceries. That's right. You heard it here. Home Chef even has a delicious, kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options per week. So don't spend all that money. Eat right and eat at home with Home Chef. Right, Dawson?
For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/Adam. That's homechef.com/Adam for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard it right. Homechef.com/Adam. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
Viator experiences are what people love most about travel. Whitewater rafting, Hawaiian catamaran, Catalina zip lining. Yes, all stuff my family's gone on. I missed out on the zip lining in Catalina. I was working. Viator, it's a website and app for booking travel experiences like the Grand Canyon Skywalk or a guided tour of the Vatican. Well, a lot of range there. Over 300,000 bookable experiences in 190 countries, millions of real traveler reviews. So you have the information you need to book the best activities for your trip. You want the vacation, but you want the experience as well, and that's where Viator comes in. With Viator, there's always flexibility and support with free cancellation, payment options, and 24/7 service. Download the Viator app now and use the code Viator10 for 10% off your first booking in the app. One app, over 300,000 travel experiences you'll remember. Do more with Viator. Well, Simply Safe. I recommend Simply Safe Home Security. It's advanced home security that puts you first. We've used this product since they've been sponsors, and that's going back over a decade. We all use it here. I've told you Dawson used it back when he was in his apartment, and then when he moved to his new home, he took it with him. You can't do that with a hardwired system. U.S. News & World Report says best home security system for 5 years running, 24/7 live guard protection. Lets monitoring agents stop a crime in real time, speaking to the intruders through the smart alarm wireless indoor camera. Oh man, the future's here. No long-term contracts, cancel anytime. Try it risk-free with a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. And right now, my listeners get 20% off a new Simply Safe system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/Adam. Save that 20% at simplysafe.com/Adam. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Meter. Well, Father's Day just around the corner. What are my kids going to do for me? I got the perfect gift for the dad, and he doesn't even know he needs this one, but he will never stop using it. Meter. Sleek, smart meat thermometer that guarantees the perfect cook every time. Grilling steaks, roasting a chicken, or smoking a brisket. He'll never undercook or overcook dinner again. And you got to do that because you don't want to stand over the grill the whole time. Head smells like a briquette. You want to head in, watch a little of the game, crack a cold one. And now with Meter, it's like having eyes on that meat the whole time. You can use it in a grill, a smoker, oven, air fryer, rotisserie, wherever you cook. That's Meter. Monitor your food. Use the app, then relax, and have another Arnold Palmer. Meter will be watching for you. It's a perfect gift for the dad in your life to level up his barbecue game. It's Meter, right, Dawson?
Shop now on Meter.com for Father's Day specials, including the newest products. Barbecue season is coming up. Get Dad grilling and shop at MEATER.com. It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, get it on. Hey, it's Dan from NorCal. I'm currently on a business trip in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not only is everything just nice and functional, I mean, there's a lot of traffic, but almost every left turn arrow is a flashing yellow during off-peak hours. So just turn it and make it legal, and it's just really nice. All right, man, get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
No duct tapes or vans around there either. I'm adding arrows to my list. All right. Jilly Bartlett is hanging out with us. We got Mark Geragos calling in, who was there on the panel with Francesca Fiorentini or something. Mark?
How are you, Adam?
I'm well. Where are you at?
I'm walking the streets of New York as we speak.
Oh,
Figured
good.
I would call in since you've either already played the clip or you've talked about the clip. And
Yes.
I wanted to call you right afterwards. I was hoping you saw the clip.
I did.
Because I was going to ask you your impression. Have you already given your impression?
Well, look, my impression is just because you hate somebody or you want something to be true or you want to stop somebody, that can't find its way inside of the legal system. And if you speak with energy and you move your hands a lot, it still doesn't make you right. You still need to kind of come with the facts. But you and I haven't really drilled down on this case, so I don't know. I mean, I have a good idea of where you stand on it. I've not really found a legal expert who can cite what happened in this case, but you're as good as we got, so give it a try, Mark.
Well, and you probably know better than anybody because you've been listening to me for over a decade. All cases are won or lost in jury selection. This case was lost in jury selection. His best hope, his being Trump, was a hung jury that somebody, one of three candidates, either the two big firm lawyers or the person who, by the way, I've been saying listens to Truth Social or follows Truth Social. Megyn Kelly corrected me and said, no, it's actually they're aware of his posts on Truth Social. So I thought, and I said publicly, there was no way he was going to be acquitted in this case. And so sure enough, that's where we're at. And kind of the point I wanted to make in that clip that you played is obviously the part that has been going viral was not the part where I was analyzing it. So I'll talk to you about it. I mean, 30 years ago, 25 years ago, I used to say that if you're going to go and do this to Bill Clinton and you're going to say, that these are the kinds of things that we're going to go after a president for, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. And here we are, 30 years, almost 25 years since Whitewater, and we've got the exact same thing. Interestingly, you don't even have to have an institutional memory. Yesterday, they started picking a jury and got a jury in Hunter Biden's case. Right. And you've got a Trump-appointed judge there, and bless her heart, she gutted the defense yesterday by ruling that they couldn't get into the form that was apparently altered by the gun seller, and that they couldn't call an expert about addiction. And, it's going to be a preordained. The only shot that Hunter's got is that he's in Delaware, and he may have a more favorable jury pool. In fact, I won't say may. I read some of by the way, I have not taught, even though Hunter is a client vis-a-vis Fox, I'm not involved in the criminal case, and I haven't talked to him about it. But I will tell you that based on what I read, he's got a better shot than Trump did in Manhattan. But if you're going to complain about Manhattan and Trump, which, by the way, I've never voted for Trump. I'm not a Trump supporter, but that case was an outrage to have brought the prosecution on a theory that didn't require a unanimity on what the target crime was is unheard of to me. And then in the middle of the case, as Harvey Weinstein's conviction is getting reversed by the highest court here in New York, and they say you can't interfere with a defendant's right to testify by saying we're going to allow you to cross-examine him on stuff that is untested and irrelevant. They do the exact same thing with Trump. And anybody who's paid attention will tell you, why would you take the stand in a case where the judge has already found you in contempt, and all he's going to do is if you take the stand and lose, he's going to enhance it and say you lied, and then boom, you're somewhere else. So both are outrageous, and we really ought to leave the criminal law alone when it comes to political revenge.
I agree, and people have wondered what Mershon was up to because some of his stuff was so outlandish that it seemed so obvious that they were going to appeal and that it wouldn't hold up. And some have speculated, yes, he must have known that going in, but the appeals process is going to take a while, and that's the way he wants it. But what is the judge thinking? I mean, by all accounts, he was doing things that were unprecedented in that courtroom.
Well, there's one of the dirty little secrets of the criminal law, and I first encountered this, and he's now dead, was the judge in the Scott Peterson case, Judge DeLuca. And he pulled me aside at one point during that trial, and he was appointed by the then Chief Justice in that case, who gave him my marching orders. We don't want a hung jury. It was 5 years after O.J. There had been all kinds of public losses in California trials. And so do whatever you can, basically, to make sure we don't have a hung jury, because that's not satisfying to the court system in some sense. And now, unfortunately, we've reached a point in this, in our world and in our justice system where I can tell you what rulings are going to be just by virtue of doing a simple Google search on a judge. And that's very disconcerting. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely. But when you take a look at some of these cases, the rulings are not surprising. My father, who I always invoke, used to say for 20 years, he used to call all of these judges DAs in a robe, meaning they were just carrying the prosecution's water. And, if you may say, hey, this is great if you're on my side of the aisle, except when you're not somebody that you dislike, and it's when it's somebody who you think deserves a shot, to have the scales of justice, a thumb on the scale of justice. If it happens with somebody who's got resources, imagine what happens when you don't have resources.
That's a very good point. And so what do you think? You think the judge is going to recommend jail time?
Well, this is, I thought Trump was playing three-dimensional chess when out of nowhere he agreed to the debates on CNN on June 17th. That was a week before he was found guilty. And he was sitting in that courtroom, and he knew he was going to be found guilty, and he knew that judge had no use contempt 9 times, by the way, I think improperly so.
Sorry, you're breaking
Convicted.
up. You're breaking up.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I said, and if you're Trump, you got to worry that if you get convicted, and this happens in state court, not as much in New York, but in California, he would have been remanded into custody. They would have put him in custody as soon as the jury read the verdict. So that's what I was saying yesterday in that clip with Francesca, that anybody but Trump would have been in custody. Normally that wouldn't happen in New York, but trust me, you piss off the judge like he's pissed off this judge, and he would have just said, you know what, I'm going to give you some time anyway for flouting the court orders, and you're going into custody. Trump, by saying he was going to do the debate June 17th on CNN, I think he preempted that. So, and the other thing, what's he going to do July 11th? I speculate 30, 60, or 90 days, and it'll be stayed pending the appeal. Dershowitz gave me an idea that I hadn't thought of, which is he suspends 2 years over Trump's head, a state prison suspended sentence. That's somewhat diabolical, because if Trump loses the election and he's got a 2-year state prison sentence hanging over his head, any violation could trigger a state prison sentence when he's not president. So I can see where Alan may have a point.
What do you make of James Comey, former FBI director, up there talking about how they could pull off putting Trump in jail? Like they could give him a double wide and put it out on the lawn. And it seemed, there's a clip that should haunt people. And the clip, and Mark will know it. It's the head of the DNC, or the Speaker of the House. Oh, God, what's his name from New York? Oh, the Jewish fellow.
That's Stefanik. You're thinking
Not
of
Stefanik.
Schumer.
Chuck Schumer. There's a clip you guys should all look at from like 6 years ago with Schumer on a weekend show going, you fuck around with the CIA and the FBI and you fuck with these people, they got 10 ways to Sunday to get you. Like, do not start mouthing off about the deep state and the FBI and the CIA. Do not do that, because they will fuck you up. And I don't know why he's saying that. Now, I don't know why Schumer's saying that out loud into a microphone on a Sunday show, but he's saying the quiet part out loud, which is Trump thinks he can come in here and he thinks he can come into our system where we run everything and he can start making his own rules just because he's the president. You better shut your mouth, because we run this place and we'll figure out a way to get you. And that's essentially what he did. Yes.
Yeah, let me tell you something. You know, I remember that clip well because I've got one of my close friends who I will not further identify, that I went to school with, other than to say that, was a longtime spook operative. And I talked to him right after that, and he said, yeah, that's exactly right. He's speaking, just as you said, he's speaking the quiet part out loud. He confirmed it. And how chilling is that?
Well, it's not what you look for in a society or a government, I think is what you're saying. Like, you get up there and start talking smack about the FBI and the FBI will destroy you is probably not. But the real problem to me is too many people cheering this on. The ladies from The View and everyone like that. Our own Adam Schiff, your favorite Adam Schiff, Mark. Last time I saw him, he was in your backyard. The point is
future senator from California.
Yes, they're all just taking victory laps, and I'm like, as you started when we started speaking today, be careful what you wish for. This is not what you want. You should, listen. I'm no fan of Hunter Biden, and I'm no fan of Joe Biden. The whole gun charge thing, it's neither here nor there. To me, yes, he was on drugs. Yes, he filled out an application, said he wasn't on drugs, and then he got guns. That's called Tuesday in the world of a junkie. It's not a big deal. Now, Ukraine, Burisma, 10% for the big guy, there's some meat on that bone. For me, not interested in the gun charge. And more people on the other side need to be speaking out.
By the way, on the gun charge, as somebody who spent longer than you and I have talking to each other with Dr. Drew, can you imagine the idea that you're going to penalize somebody who's an addict but thought he was clean, even if it's only for 11 days? You're going to penalize him for answering that I'm not addicted, as if that self-awareness isn't the last thing that occurs to you when you're an addict. I mean, it's mind-boggling and shows you. It reminds me, years ago, there was a DA who got out sideways with his boss. And next thing you know, they indicted the guy for something on a DMV application, and they charged him with perjury. And, it's just, when you have to go in search of a crime because you want to take somebody out, that shit, to me, that's worse than chilling. That's frightening.
No, I agree, and I'm just saying, once it's on, and then it's the Hatfields and the McCoys, and it's hard to unring that bell, man. And unfortunately, it's now on. Mark, let me give you a plug. Reasonable Doubt, of course, the podcast, new episodes every week, and shoot him a tweet at Mark Geragos, and tell your wife I owe her a phone call about a Deb ball.
Oh my God, that's true. She was haunting me. She said, "Get him on the phone," and I said, "No, you go see him."
Yeah. So anyway, we got a lot of Deb balling talk to get into.
You're not going to believe what she's dragged you into.
All right,
good luck. I miss you. I love you.
All right,
Bye.
love you, Mark. Thanks. All right, maybe that Chuck Schumer clip that we were referring to is pretty good. I would say Chuck Schumer, 10 Ways to Sunday news show, but it was pretty chilling to have him basically talk about how the federal government will destroy you if you start poking around and asking questions. Not a good plan. But also, it just seems like, do we need a permanent Washington now? You know what I mean? It's just like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and whoever. They're just there. That's it for your life. They're just there, ensconced, making rules, no turnover, no jeopardy,
no
just
pushback.
Crushing it on the stock market, man. Just crushing the NASDAQ every single year, year after year, going into year, 84, 85, 79, just been there since I was in high school. They're like local sportscasters in L.A. It's like Fred Rogan was on TV when I was in high school, and I'm now old, and he's still on.
Yeah.
He's still calling the Lakers. All right, we'll play the clip for you. Oh, it's Rachel Maddow.
Statement, latest tweet, as you were just saying. The president-elect's latest unsolicited pronouncement on the intelligence community. This was his tweet just a little while ago tonight. You see the scare quotes there. The intelligence briefing on so-called Russian hacking was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. We're actually told, intelligence sources tell NBC News since this tweet has been posted, that actually this intelligence briefing for the president-elect was always planned for Friday. It hasn't been delayed. But he's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to me.
That's terrifying.
He's getting railroaded because they're saying Russia colluded with a Steele dossier that Hillary Clinton paid for, and they're railroading him with this whole Russian collusion thing, which doesn't exist, and he's fighting back, and Schumer's going, don't mess with the intelligence agency. They'll fuck you up.
Right.
Okay. All right. But whose side we on? We're with Chuck Schumer?
And he could say it publicly.
Yes, and we cheer him on. And all the ladies from The View love Chuck Schumer and the intelligence agencies fucking everyone's shit up.
Well, because we just love anytime anyone tells Trump to fuck off.
I get it. You don't like Trump, but there'll be another guy and then another guy, and it's all first things first. You cannot do things based on personalities. Like, we don't like this guy, we do like that guy. You can't call baseball games that way. You can't umpire that way. You cannot umpire that way. You can't run a society. We don't like this guy. We think he's mean. I don't want to have a beer with him. Mm-hmm. Or we do like this person, so let him leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's not how the system has to work, Chuck. All right, we got some news to do.
So you guys are going to love this. There's now a heat dome over Southern California, so the temperatures are going to get quite hot.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So
I'm going to have a slip and slide
Jolie.
on my body.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm just warning you that because of the fires, it's going to
Thanks
get a
for
lot
the
hotter,
warning,
of course.
kiddo.
I don't, by the way, the whole thing about atmospheric rivers or rain bombs or storm bombs or heat domes or whatever, I don't give a fuck. I'm done listening because I think it's all some kind of propagandized, global warming, whatever. Like Gavin Newsom's talking about atmospheric rivers and storm bombs or something.
Means.
He doesn't know what it means either, but that's why we're short on our deficit. Like, it's all bullshit. So be prepared. It's all coming. It's going to mean it's 4 degrees hotter than it normally is.
Yeah.
And that'll be that.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't worry about it.
Thanks.
But you're going to sweat your ass
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I just wanted to warn you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's daughter, the day she turned 18, she took off Pitt from her legal last name. She had it removed herself. She got her own lawyers, and her name is Shiloh Novell Jolie, was Jolie Pitt, and she removed it. She didn't want it.
Well, she can do that.
You can.
Yeah.
Is her birthday my birthday?
May 27th.
Yeah.
Birthday twins.
Gemini, knew it. I knew
She's
it.
in your birthday cocktail party.
That's right. She is now.
Think about this for a second. She took Pitt off of her name. The rest of her name is totally beautiful.
Yeah.
Shiloh, the Jolie.
It's musical, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Pitt.
It's melodic.
I don't blame her. I don't
blame
think
it.
it was a diss to Brad. It's like, look, this is not a Hollywood name, bro. I'm taking the Pitt out. I think it's a good move.
It's a good move.
It is.
Your voice is just like
It is an
butter.
attack on Brad Pitt, though. Because, look, here, okay.
You should see
Can
the
we-
rest of me. It's all butter.
can we break down Angelina Jolie?
Okay.
Okay. Listen to me, everybody. When a woman hates her dad, she will learn to hate her husband. And then mostly, and the country at some point. If you hate your dad, you hate your husband, and you hate the country.
There's a pattern.
That's
sure.
that's,
And then you
that's
buy a
how it
fan.
works. And if you get in with that person, she will hate you at some point, and she will turn, especially the females in the children department, against you because women need justification. So it can't just be, I hate your dad, but you think he's a great guy? No. I'm going to work on you. I think Angelina Jolie, has definitely poisoned her kids on Brad Pitt.
But we don't know that until she has another relationship and we see if it happens again. What happened with the blood, with like the Billy Bob
She
blood
hates her dad.
necklace?
We know that.
Then again,
And then why does she hate her dad? Dad's
because
a
of the name
Republican.
Voight.
John Voight.
Yeah.
She hates John Voight, and John Voight, coincidentally, Republican. So remember the part where you hate your dad and the country? There you go.
Yeah, but she could just hate her dad because he's a shitty dad. It doesn't have
Could
to be
be.
about politics, so we're speculating. But I'd like to see her in another relationship and see if she hates that guy too.
I would bet if John Voight's politics were very progressive, she would not hate him.
I prefer the comedic premise that the name Voight didn't sound good after Angelina.
Angelina Voight.
Yeah, she wouldn't have gone
All
that
right,
far.
but she literally doesn't speak to her
That
dad.
was a big fuck you, Dad.
And I think she's turning her kids against Brad. That's what's
Perhaps.
going on.
I mean, yeah, so an
Who the fuck
insider...
wouldn't want Brad Pitt for a dad?
I would.
You would?
And she's trying to get into the
Wait,
business.
you would or wouldn't?
I don't know. He seems fun.
Yeah, I'm saying, who wouldn't
Oh,
want
yeah, he seems
Brad
like the
Pitt?
fun dad.
Yeah, you would. You
But
would want him
maybe-
for a
but
dad.
maybe-
They want him as their daddy.
But listen, there's this term I heard that's kind of dumb, but it's called like the Disney dad. Like the mom's at home all the time with the kid, and then like the dad comes in on the weekend and is like, toys, let's go to Disney World, let's do all these things, and then he's like, see ya, I'm going to work. So maybe he
The
was
fun weekend
maybe
dad?
he was the fun weekend dad or something like that.
And listen, I don't know.
Which is that a crime?
I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
Brad Pitt very well or at all, but I think she's the nut job and she's poisoning those kids. That's what I think. So why would you need to drop the guy's name?
Right. And supposedly the siblings also have been dropping the name publicly.
Right.
when
So
they're
you no
introduced.
longer, Angelina Jolie, you no longer speak to your dad, John Voight, and now your kids no longer speak to their dad, Brad Pitt.
Right.
Okay. Keep going. There's a connection. Very,
We'll
very
see.
deep connection.
We don't know.
I know 1,000%, just like I know that van was a van. I know this because that's what Angelina's nuts.
Right.
And that's why she doesn't talk to her dad.
But that's why that's why she's so hot.
Yeah, it's true.
Because she's so crazy, and it's just like, oh God,
And it's
yes.
funny, the kid looks exactly like a split
I
between
know.
Angelina and they
It's
look the
crazy.
exact split, but somehow shaved a couple of points that didn't add.
Well, listen,
any
two
points.
really beautiful people the kid can have like super severe features. The most beautiful features of each of them, when they're all piled on top of each other, can be like a fucking funhouse mirror. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, no, yeah.
You know, it's like it's too
No,
much.
here's what I think.
Okay,
You can have a Christy Brinkley and a Billy Joel.
thank you. And the
That's
kid's
not
gonna
the
look
point.
hot.
That's not the point you're
Oh,
making.
okay.
You land in the middle.
Right.
You land kind of in the middle there.
Yeah.
When you get two really good-looking people, you usually get a pretty good-looking kid. But sometimes, if the features are too strong,
That's what I'm saying.
But you don't get a funhouse mirror. You just get a not as hot as you should be. This is basically
Watered down.
You know, it's like someone going, "Whoa, this sandwich it's got brisket, it's got an onion ring, it's got ranch sauce
Love
on
all
it,
that.
and it's got provolone."
Okay.
And you like bite into it, and you go,
No.
eh.
Or what's that thing that
You don't go
psychiatrists...
no, but you go, it's fine, but it's
Yeah.
not what it should be.
What's that picture that psychiatrists go? What is-
Rorschach.
So it's that. It's like you look at the kid from this way and you're like, yeah, oh. You know, like... you
No,
can-
I don't think there's a ooh. I just think it's not. Here's the deal. There's better look. You could go to a junior college and find hotter looking chicks whose parents definitely didn't look as good as Brad and Angelina.
Yeah.
But the daughter's still a very attractive person.
Right.
She's not a funhouse mirror.
No.
She's just attractive. But it's like saying, I don't know, it's like LeBron James and his kids, you know what I mean? You go, this kid's pretty good at basketball, but geez Christ, Dad, come on.
Two freaks of nature like Angelina and Brad, you don't want the best of them on your face because it's not going to go together.
Yeah, it's a delicate dance.
Yeah.
But see, here's my point. We're talking like this person is unattractive, but they're not at all.
Right. Totally gorgeous.
But then you just said funhouse mirror.
Well, because I was being a jerk.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was making a joke about because my husband and I used to talk about that. Like, oh God, what if our kid has the most severe features from each of us? We would say he's going to look like a funhouse mirror, like these big lips and then like little eyes, and just we're like, oh God, So we were like, oh wow.
Yeah. What if you want Patrick Swayze, but you get Don?
You get Don Swayze. Don got
so I was kind of
severely-
talking about my situation, not hers.
We're talking Swayze. We're talking Roadhouse.
Yeah.
We always end up here some.
Really?
End up in Roadhouse. Yeah. Don Swayze looks too much like Patrick Swayze.
Wow.
Don Swayze's like the AI version of Patrick
Oh,
Swayze.
Yeah.
no.
Mm-hmm. Sad. Or no, I've always described him as the evil Patrick Swayze. That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of LeBron, you remember how he started that school, the I Promise school?
I did. I remember hearing that no one is reading at grade level.
I'm surprised he didn't call it the I Lebramus school.
I Lebramus school. All right.
Well, so the first person to graduate college from after going to the I Promise school, he graduated early. His name's Anthony out of Akron, and LeBron was congratulating him. So in 2020, all 193 students in that inaugural class were given 4 years of free tuition to attend Kent State University.
All right.
Plus 1 year of room and board fully paid for, so it sounds like a good school to go to in that sense. And this guy, Anthony, he made most of his opportunity graduating early with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Justice Studies with a minor in Sociology. So LeBron went online to congratulate him. And his goal is to become a Secret Service agent. So that's the
Well, now everyone's going to know.
Graduate.
Wasn't
not much of a
Now
secret
he's
anymore.
not going to be effective.
I hope they had a good basketball team at that school, number one. Number two, I heard some story that no one was reading at grade level or something a few months ago, but I can't remember. I think it was LeBron's school. Anyway, I like the charter school stuff. I applaud him for doing it.
awesome.
The school based in Akron provides students with free tuition, free uniforms, free meals, free transportation within 2 miles, a free bicycle and helmet, and access to a food pantry for their family.
Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's good. But I don't like kids getting into too much free shit too early because it's
I know.
bad precedent for them. But yeah, you got to earn some shit. All right.
So-
Dawson, see if there's an article, am I making it up, about LeBron's school and reading grade, test, state testing or something like that from a couple of months ago. I can't. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say he did it if it didn't.
Right. Let's see. LeBron James's school under scrutiny after 0 students passed math test, and that was from August of last year.
Oh, well, maybe there's something to that.
That's what, I found that too.
Oh, okay.
It's really nice of him though to put. I know he has an affinity with Ohio, but it's good to put these people young kids at Kent State because they're used to cops shooting students.
I got it.
I don't know.
That's all right.
I tried.
I'm going to lay down now.
we need
gonna
Kyle
go lay down.
Dunnigan as Bill Maher to ask if this is a Dawson show.
So, did you hear about Mexico's first female president?
Yeah, finally.
So, good job, good on you, Mexico.
Yeah.
But just
Women are great at governing.
Just hours after the country celebrated the election of Claudia Sheinbaum as the nation's first woman president, gunmen have killed the female mayor of a town in Mexico.
Oh, God.
Yolanda Sanchez was shot in the town of Cotija, which she had governed since September of 2021.
What a turd.
I don't know what to. Mexico is in so deep with the cartels that I don't think it's governable anymore. It's like a narco state. Like we're really going to have to just declare them terrorists and move in. I don't know any other way to save Mexico. You cannot
They had such a
you can't
stranglehold on
run
the-
Mexico without dealing with the cartels.
She was the first. So Yolanda was the first woman to be elected mayor over there, and they do believe it was part of organized crime. She was shot 19 times.
Oh my gosh.
Died in the hospital shortly after attack.
Wow.
Her bodyguard also killed in the gun battle.
19 times and made it to the hospital.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
She's a tough bitch,
That
man.
donkey must have been hauling ass.
Oh my god.
Wow. Sad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take the silver, take the lead.
Right.
That's how they do it.
Have you?
Mexico.
We'll move over to music. Have you heard Eminem's new song?
Oh, somebody pointed it out to me.
So it's his comeback song. It's called Houdini.
Ugh.
And it feels like a throwback.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not.
This is tossing and turning.
Sorry, I have it queued up. I hit the wrong play.
I
Here
was
we
doing that
go.
on purpose.
But listen, if it was...
It's a nice palette
I was like,
cleanser.
who's he sampling?
You're on your own.
There it is.
No, this is just like one of his old first songs.
It's a throwback.
I don't know. It's
But you
Steve
recognize the
Miller.
sample?
I literally, yes, it's Abracadabra, one of the worst songs ever.
I mean, it's
but-
called Houdini, so it makes sense that they tied
I was
together.
driving here and a Steve Miller song came on and I almost knocked over my travel mug. My hand shot at the radio so fucking fast to change it. That's how bad Steve Miller is. Listen, he's good. Eminem is
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
Make your own music, though. I don't know. I don't get the sampling part.
Well, Steve Miller's very touched by it. He wrote a big old post.
Of course, because it's going to help him sell
Eminem.
some more tickets when it goes out.
Right.
And our friend Sugar Ray remade this song.
Oh, they remade Abracadabra
Oh, well, yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, couldn't remake this song. It's
Yeah.
like 10 minutes old. But,
Well, if you really have to say, like, guess who's back, like 100 times in the beginning of your song, it's kind of like,
It is his comeback song.
just do a song, though, that's cool. Like,
Right.
don't say, like, guess who's
That's too
back.
much work for me. I don't want to have to
any
start thinking
song
like
that does I heat up and I can't cool down, and anytime they go heat on the streets, I'm always like, oh, I'm out. You
This
guys
is how Jilly feels in bed.
I know,
This is my
but she's
theme
not on the
song.
streets. Yuck.
I'm just going to get a van with a waterbed so
Yeah.
I can control my own temperature. Thank you very much.
Steve Miller's so fucking bad. It's not really the fact that my problem with people in bands that are bad. It's not the band themselves. It's all of their fucking brain dead lieutenants who think they're good and who argue with me. That's the problem. I don't mind somebody making bad music. That happens all the time. I mind the people who think they like the bad music and think they know something about music and then argue with
And think
me
they need to
about
defend it.
And think they need to defend it. It's such, oh, God. I mean, Steve Miller stuff is such shit. And the Beastie Boys. And another one, I keep listening to the 90s station on Sirius XM. That, what is it, the Minnesota sound there with Jimmy Jams and
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
It's like, this fucking guy sucks so bad. Every one of their Janet Jackson. Every one of those
Jackson.
Janet Jackson songs sucks. It's dated shit. It sounds like dated shit now. Sounds horrible. It is not. Doesn't even sound like music. There's that good guy like this song. No, you don't. It's shit. It's dated shit.
New
Those
Jack
guys make
Swing.
shit music. Fucking drum machines, tinny, empty, a vacuum of creativity and actual sound. Like you find one that the Janet Jackson songs, and then you play it against the Tossin' and Turnin' or something. It's not even in the same phylum. It's such empty calorie shit.
I didn't even know there was Janet Jackson new music out.
No, 90s
There is,
station.
but even her
90s
classics.
station.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she doesn't do new music. She's not a musician. She doesn't want to do music. You ever? Hey, everyone! Remember that time you saw Janet Jackson play an acoustic set at McCabe's? Oh, you don't?
She's an entertainer.
Because she's not a musician.
She's an entertainer. She's
Well, not me.
a
I'm not
dancer.
entertained. I'm annoyed because her shit sounds so bad. Oh, God, it's such junk. it's just junk. And that's why it only lives on the 90s station now.
Right.
It doesn't really
Doesn't translate.
get outside of the 90s station because it's just shit.
Do
Who was the
not
last
get Adam
acoustic
a
artist?
Janet Jackson album for Christmas.
No.
Don't do it.
Canceled the
Cancel
order
the
just
order.
now. Yeah.
Who
was the last acoustic artist you saw at McCabe's? I'm curious.
John Hyatt.
Nice.
Thank you. Yes. Well, John Haight's a musician, everybody, so he plays things with a guitar. He's not Janet Jackson, Paul Abdul, who don't do anything because they're not musicians. That's the rub. They're not musicians.
They're singers. I would agree
They're
with
not
that.
bad. I didn't know that they're singers per se.
But
I
they-
don't know who does what. I don't. Okay, they suck. They're horrible. Jimmy, what are like Jimmy Jam? Who do those assholes produce? Because they ruined music in the 90s.
I like one song that they've done.
What is it?
What's Jimmy Jam? I've not left my house in 5 years. I don't know what's happening.
This is the 90s.
Okay,
The 90s.
okay,
Stop thinking we're talking
Okay,
about now.
okay.
It's the 90s.
The 90s has come up a lot today.
They wrote and produced Boyz II Men's On Bended Knee.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good slow jam.
All right. What else?
Let's see. So their big hits would be. Oh boy, I'm gonna look at their discography here. So
Ugh.
they have 16 number one hits.
All right, let's hear them.
Janet Jackson, When I Think of You, Miss You Much, Escapade, Love Will Never Do Without You, That's the Way
That
Love
was a
Goes.
good album. I'm sorry. It was.
Again, and then Together Again, Doesn't Really Matter, and All For You. They also did The Human League, Human. George Michael's Monkey.
Oh, that's a horrible song.
Karen White's Romantic.
Don't know it.
And then Boyz II Men On Bended Knee, which I love. And then 4 Seasons of Loneliness. They did a Mariah Carey song, Thank God I Found You. And then Usher's You Remind Me. Also a good song.
All right. I hate all Janet Jackson songs. They're all fucking horrible. And, but then there's Steve Miller, who's horrible too.
But he loves the Eminem song. So, and then the music video features Pete Davidson in it, as well as Shane Gillis.
Oh, it's so funny, because I didn't bring it up, but I was sitting here yesterday, and I looked down on Voices that Kyle Dunnigan did. And down at the bottom, it said Pete Davidson.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him do it.
And I thought to myself, this is the longest I've gone without hearing anything about Pete Davidson in my entire adult life.
Right.
This is the longest I've had a
Do you even know who he's dating right now?
I don't know.
Isn't that amazing?
I've not had to fucking hear what the least talented actor on SNL is up to in the long. It's been like 13 and a half weeks since I got a fucking update on an unfunny guy from SNL.
He's probably on like a vagina hiatus.
I was like, and I almost brought it up. I almost brought it up to Kyle, but I didn't want to jinx it. I said, don't jinx it. This is the greatest run you've had of not hearing about Pete Davidson.
Reset the counter, Byron.
You got to reset the counter, because I have thankfully not heard anything about Pete Davidson for like almost 3.5 months now. And I felt blessed. I felt blessed, like my cancer had gone into remission or something.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I silently sat here and I thought, I'm not going to utter
Adam,
Pete Davidson's
guess who's
name because
Why is he
I may summon him like Beetlejuice or Candyman. You know what I mean? And I all I did was thought it. I just thought it. And I said, don't say it.
So close.
If you
Little
say
girls
it,
all over slumber parties are going to be going, Pete Davidson, in the mirror, Pete Davidson, Pete
say
Davidson.
Pete Davidson 3 times in the mirror, his dick will hit you across the face. So I sat here 24 hours ago and I
So
said,
close.
bite your tongue, Em. Just don't. Just keep moving. Don't
Wait, did
say
he
a
come
word.
out? Did something come out about him? Did you?
There's this part.
Yeah.
From
me,
the 90s.
me bringing him up.
Oh, okay.
You got to get out of it.
But he has
Yeah, we were
seriously
talking
been out
about
of the
Pete
news.
Davidson for a reason.
He's been out of the news for a long time. I fear, you know what the beach looks like before a tidal wave? Like
Too
just
quiet.
The ocean
It's
just
too
recedes.
quiet.
It's too quiet.
It's
I think
too
there's a
quiet.
Pete Davidson tsunami.
And
That's
all
well,
kinds-
I just
all
got
kinds
hit
of-
by it because
all kinds
I-
of penises
It was-
come up on the shore.
Less than 24 hours later, here's his name, right in my face. All right,
boy.
Pete Davidson.
There they
is
are.
No.
in the
So
video. Okay, I don't know why. What do we need from him? What do we need from Pete Davidson?
I don't know enough about him.
He's a likable
Besides,
guy.
he dates.
I would have a
hot
beer with him.
My
chicks.
fucking dad's a likable guy. We don't need to hear from him. All right, Are we done? Now I'm in a bad mood.
Why not? That mission accomplished.
Jilly, this
You
has
just
been a
spun
slice
yourself
of...
into a bad mood.
I thought I could go without hearing Pete Davidson. I thought I could make it 4 months without hearing about what Pete Davidson was up to, because it's so important that I know what he's up to all the time. But I jinxed myself by thinking his name.
Well,
yesterday.
You were in the clear.
I thought I was in the
That's
clear.
hilarious.
All right. Let's give you a plug, Jilly Bartlett.
Thanks.
Instagram at Jilly Denise. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Website, JillyBartlett.com is where.
Check her out on Scissor 7.
No.
Scissor 7.
In some guy's basement going, ugh.
Writer, producer, legendary writer, producer, married with children, and all sorts of sitcoms that shaped your childhood. Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Mork and Mindy, Different Strokes, Facts of Life. Oh my God, it never ends. Richard Gurman is going to come in here right after this. Well, let me tell you about Morgan & Morgan. It's 2024, so let's talk about something important. If you get hurt this year, your injury could be worth millions. If you're ever injured, you should check out Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Well, they've done more than $20 billion they've recovered for over 500,000 clients. So let's say that's a pretty good track record. Morgan & Morgan is, well, they have a proven track record. That's what I just said. So they can fight to get you the full and fair amount of compensation. They've been fighting for the people for over 35 years. Racing my vintage cars, well, that can be hard, but submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan, well, that's easy. So if you got an issue, had an injury, talk to my friends over at Morgan & Morgan. Am I right, Dawson?
If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Adam or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Adam or #law, #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement.
Well, doesn't it seem like every week there's a major leak of customer info from phone or healthcare or other companies? That's right. People are getting all your information these days. I mean, they ain't breaking into your home anymore. They're getting your info. Well, that's where Aura comes in. All-in-one online safety solution helps protect your information about you, your family, and it stops it from being sold to data brokers. Data brokers are legally required to remove your personal information if you ask, but they make it difficult and time-consuming. Aura does the work for you. Aura also helps reduce annoying robocalls, telemarketers, and junk mail by sending takedown requests on your behalf. Plus, Aura monitors for identity theft before it happens and scans the dark web for your email addresses, passwords, social security number, and other sensitive information. So protect yourself with Aura, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, Aura is offering our listeners a 14-day trial plus a free check of your data to see if your personal information has been leaked online, all for free, while you visit aura.com/trust. That's aura.com/trust to sign up for a 14-day free trial and start protecting you and your loved ones. aura.com/trust. Certain terms apply. Be sure to check the site for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Well, in the business of keeping your car on the road. That's what they do. Friendly, helpful service and parts and all the knowledge you need. I love these guys. I've always, even before they became a sponsor, a million years. I mean, back when I was renting a house up in La Crescenta, I'd always go to O'Reilly up there on Foothill Boulevard. Still there. Just passed there the other day. Always get my stuff from O'Reilly. Thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online. Check engine light. Is that on? Well, don't ignore it. O'Reilly VersaScan is a free diagnostic service that provides a detailed, easy-to-read report. Need wipers replaced or a brake light fix? They can help you find the right part or point you in the nearest repair shop so you can get it done that way. And they'll also test your battery for free in or out of the car. Talk to the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts today, or visit O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
Bertram's back. You're welcome, ladies. Here's a sneak preview of the new animated show from Adam Carolla and the Daily Wire.
Girls don't like me. First, stop presuming they're girls. Maybe those students assigned female at birth haven't yet determined their affectional orientation.
What?
A Notebook. Great idea. Also a fantastic movie. Let me teach you how to dialogue from a non-heteronormative and anti-patriarchal life stance to establish a relationship grounded in ethno-racial and gender-sexual intersectionality.
I'm gonna need a bigger notebook. It's pretty clear I'll never be a ladies' man. In fact, after talking to Mr. Caponzi, I don't even know what a woman is.
Subscribe now at dailywire.com and tell a friend. Mr. Bertram. Now back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Well, we got writer-producer Richard Gurman here. This book, Married with Children versus the World, the inside story of the shock-com that launched Fox, that's right, and changed TV comedy forever. Good to see you, Richard.
Good to be here.
And all the legendary TV shows you worked on that were so ingrained and so part of a childhood that you knew every word and every beat of every theme song, every character, every catchphrase. I mean, it was a completely different time.
It's not like that anymore, is it?
No, and I'm trying to think if it was good or it was bad. But I mean, you know, sitcom stars had their catchphrase, you know, hey, or sit on it, or whatever it was, up your nose with a rubber hose, or John Travolta, or whatever. And then you could go to school the following day and with confidence tell someone up their nose with a rubber hose, and no one would go, what the fuck are you talking about? They knew exactly what you were talking. We all were on the same page.
Yeah. It
was essentially like coming to work on Monday and talking about the Super Bowl from Sunday. You could count on everyone there seeing the game.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
No. Now it's like a widespread, you know, everyone can watch whatever they want, and who knows what they talk about.
Yes, and I would not get any references from the show Girls because I've never seen it. And neither has anyone else. They just wanted us to see it. So, Married with Children.
Yeah.
People kind of forgot it was like groundbreaking and kind of an outlaw show back in the day.
Yeah, it certainly was.
I kind of remember where I was when that thing started. Was that 89, 90?
87, 88.
87, 88.
86, 87 in there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what was so groundbreaking about it?
Well, it was the idea that at the end of 22 minutes, people didn't just hug each other and say, you know, this is the lesson we learned, and this is why we're here, and why it's important to be a parent, and why it's important to be a kid. There were no lessons learned.
Right.
And I think that the parents were able to just unload on their kids, and the kids were able to unload on their parents, and there were no consequences except that ultimately they still all loved each other, and that's kind of what held it together. And the sexual talk and the openness was very, very different.
I'm thinking out loud now. I remember. Well, okay, I'll get my thoughts sorted out here. But first off, just giving him the name Bundy, named after a serial killer. I mean, just calling them the Bundy family is already kind of an interesting choice.
Well, can I jump in there?
Yes.
People were concerned that they were named after a serial killer, but he was actually named after a wrestler. They were Ron and Michael Levitt and Moy, the creators of the show, were obsessed with pro wrestling. So it was really King Kong Bundy. It was not the serial killer Bundy.
Well, that is noted. But if there was a wrestler named Al Hitler, and I said, I'm naming my family the Hitlers, then people would say, whoa, you can't do that. I'd go, oh, not that Hitler, another Hitler.
It still causes pause.
They would still pause and go, you still can't use that.
Well, yeah, I think you're right, and I think that Ron and Michael at that point they just didn't. They
I like it, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I like the wrestling reference and the serial killer. But I'm just saying, Oftentimes an executive might raise their hand and go, I know you guys are big WWE guys, but most of America is just going to think
that's true.
Ted Bundy.
No,
so,
they probably got away with something there.
So I'm looking at the back of the book, and there's a blurb by your old friend, Adam Katie Segal. And it says,
I worked on her house when I was a carpenter.
That's that right?
Up in the hills.
Okay.
Hollywood Hills, yeah.
And she said, I really thought this was way too far out for network television. Plus, it was on Fox, which was a little puny network that you didn't even get in most households.
Right.
So, yeah, what did this show do for Fox? It could have even been successful on another network.
Well, what you're saying is almost the whole point of it. When Fox opened up, there were 3 networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, and there were entrenched viewers that just watched those shows. Fox, under the leadership of Barry Diller, they said specifically, we've got to do something different to pull audiences away from Murder, She Wrote, and Cosby and Family Ties and Who's the Boss and all that. So we were given a mandate to do something different. They came to Ron and Michael, and they came to other producers, that were big at the time, and they said, do something different to put us on the map. And that's exactly how it started. It was. You talk about businesses that are disruptive now. This was a disruptive network.
Yeah, I have something in the back of my head that I remember from about 4 months ago, where Ed O'Neill seemed to have some beef with the original neighbor lady.
Marcy?
Maybe Marcy. Or Marcy had a beef with Ed O'Neill, and I was thinking, I don't know what this is, but it just popped into my head from a few months ago.
Okay, well, I can.
Yeah, that's why you're here.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Well, they started off, pretty good friends, and they were all, on the same page, and everybody had this sense of, like you were saying, this is this rebel show, and we're all in it together. And then at a certain point, and they talk about this in the book, and they both cop to it. Amanda, as many actresses will do, or actors on shows, decided she wanted to direct. I mean, you're there. It's a training ground. If you have aspirations, it's a natural thing.
Yeah, so, Ron Howard.
Yeah, there you go. Opie. So she got put in her contract that she could direct. So all of a sudden she was directing, and she directed 4 or 5 episodes one season, and then she did well, and she did more and more and more. Well, Ed, all of a sudden, instead of relating to Amanda Burst, sort of the 5th character down the line in a scene, is relating to her as the person who's telling him what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
And he just had real trouble with that, and they both admit that was the genesis of their discontent.
Yeah, I've been directed by quite a few women, and I think people sometimes they go, oh, this guy just, can't handle being directed by a woman. And the answer to that is some of them, not all of them. I've had bad, shitty, bitchy female directors, and it's like, no, it didn't work out that good. And then I have ones that have got along with swimmingly, and it goes fine. And same with the males, by the way.
Right.
So I think people oversimplify. They go, this guy is this old school guy, doesn't want to be told what to do by this chick.
Do you think it's because she's a woman, or because she was a former peer who now became his superior?
I think that's closer to it, because the very first year and a half was directed by a woman named Linda Day.
Oh, so he's got a built-in excuse. Right.
He never had any problem with that. So I think that's a good point.
Why did the beef keep going? Did he get her fired or something?
No, he did not get her fired, and she never was fired. There was another incident that happened where she's gay, and she came out in the 6th or 7th year of the show, actually long before a lot of other actors and actresses who came out as gay in Hollywood. And she decided not to invite him to the wedding, her wedding. So he was really angry about that, because he felt, here we are, a family, even though I have my beef with her and so on and so forth. So we sat them down.
And she invited everyone else from the cast?
She invited everybody else from the cast.
Can't do that, but I get it. All right.
Okay,
Both Jeff and Ted.
Yeah, so they sat down, they started talking, and he This is documented not only in my book, but in other interviews. And he said, well, why aren't you inviting me to the wedding? And she said, you know, Ed, I just thought when, I forget her wife's name at the time, Maggie and I were walking down the aisle in the church in maxing white tuxedos, you wouldn't be able to help but just break up and crack up. And that would, I just wouldn't be able to do that. And he said, what the hell are you talking about? What's so funny about, and then he pictured it, and he started laughing right there as he was talking to her. And he said, you know something? I think you were right in not inviting me.
First off, if I don't get invited to a lesbian wedding, I will double the price of your present. There's not. I hate all weddings. Suck for the most part. Lesbian weddings worse than most, and I love not going to one. So he should have been thankful. But then, where did the beef keep going after that? Because now it seems like they broke the tension.
It's just, you know, the beef kept going, except that they never brought it to the scenes. They play scenes together like well, ironically, they always were fighting and bitching with each other. So when they had scenes, they were in character, and it was all for the show. So these other things, the worried about the power play and not inviting the wedding, were side issues, but it never really infected sort of the quality of the show or their performance. And she even talks, you know, as much as she says, you know, he bullied me and this and that and the other thing. She always felt that she loved playing the character of Marcy, and she loved playing against Al.
Ted McGinley shows up season what?
5.
Season 5. I have a strange obsession with him.
Okay, of course.
And I had one of the best ideas in television. Everyone ignored, but I thought it was great. Ted McGinley shows up season 5 of every sitcom and every show. He's the closer. They put him in a golf cart. He puts a windbreaker on, and he shows up into the run of the show. He doesn't. He's never with the original cast. He shows up. Season 3 to season 5.
Yeah. Save opportunity.
Ends up showing up on the Love Boat at some point. Is Ace the photographer? You look at that guy's career. He didn't start Happy Days. He showed up. He didn't start any sitcoms. He's the closer. He shows up. All right. I had this idea. I think now people might like it. Back then, everyone thought I was nuts. When The Sopranos were going off the air, it's because Tony Soprano said no mas, not the
Gandolfini.
Gandolfini said, I'm done with The Sopranos. And all the other crew members wanted to do it, and HBO, and everyone wanted to do more Sopranos. But he just went, I've done enough Sopranos. And I was like, and I used to interview some of the actors and stuff, because that's a great gig if you're one of the guys at the Bada Bing or whatever. They're like, oh, yeah, we want to keep doing this forever, but Tony doesn't. The lead guy doesn't want to do it. Gandolfini doesn't want to do it. I said, bring in Ted McGinley. I said, everyone calls him boss. Everyone calls him Tony. The scripts do not change. There's no change.
Oh, he wouldn't be a new character.
No. He's just, he just is. It'll be surreal. Everyone will watch the shit out of it.
Lost a lot of weight over the summer, boss.
None of that discussion either. Okay. Not you when you were playing volleyball at USC. No, none of that. Just, he's Tony. Do not touch the scripts. We're not touching the scripts. And he's just back for another season. People would have to watch.
Absolutely.
Just because it would be surreal. Ted McGinley he's got a track record of showing up and mopping up and saving shows. And that's what he did.
You may have just sold that, by the way.
I think I sold that, right?
Now I have an obsession with
everyone calls him boss or Tony. He's in the therapist's office. He's at the Bada Bing. You know, everything's the same. 100%. We just swapped the two out.
They've done that with like the moms in sitcoms. The Fresh Prince did it, or Family Matters.
There's present. You know, it started with Bewitched.
Right. Darren and
whoever. Sergeant Dick York.
Right.
But then it went to the Partridge Family. They got rid of the drummer. They swapped the drummer out for a blonde kid. Never said a word. They just kept going. The one kid, the first kid was like a sort of Semitic-looking Jewish kid, and they swapped him out with a Hitler Youth, and they never said a word. And it had to be some weird decision because they're like, well, shouldn't he kind of look like the other kid?
Right.
And then they'd go, well, if he kind of looks like him, then people are going to get confused. And they just went, all right, we'll get a new kid.
There we go.
And they got rid of the Jewish kid, and they got the blonde kid, they got the Aryan kid in there, and they just kept going. And then say word.
We can't do this
and they
anymore.
Never do
We
it.
know celebrities too well.
That's right.
We get too attached.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the casting of the show? Because I mean, I think it's an incredible cast. Christina Applegate was, I mean, as a formative young boy growing up, it was pretty wild seeing her on TV all the time.
The casting was very difficult. I mean, it was Katie was easy to cast. She came in, and she was this lazy housewife who eats bonbons and watches TV. She kept that, but she had a sense that she wanted to be cool, that she wanted to be pretty, that she wanted to have ego, and so she brought that to it. When she came in for the casting interview, she dolled herself up. She put on the capri pants, and she walked the walk, and she wore the mules and all that. And she brought that to the character, and that stuck. The toughest part of the casting was with Ed O'Neill. What happened was this: it was really hard to find the right character, the right actor for it, and they went through just tons of actors, and finally he walks in, and he walks in with this sigh that Michael Moyes says. Without even saying a word, he knew he would have the part because what he said. He walks in the front door, and the sigh says, "My day is not going to be any better than the day I just left. Right. my coming home is not going." So anyway, so Ed was one of our main choices. To backing up just a little bit, the studio offered Roseanne Barr and Sam Kinison the parts.
Whoa!
As soon as the show sold, and Ron and Michael, who created the show, had
pre-Roseanne, right?
Pre-Roseanne, but she had just won. She had just won comedy contests, and he was just in Dangerfield movies and so on and so forth. So Ron and Michael's. You know what an elevator pitch is.
Yeah,
you know,
I just gave him my one for The Sopranos.
Right,
You're welcome.
Exactly. So their elevator pitch was Roseanne and Sam get married and have kids. Okay,
it's perfect, except for it would have never ever worked.
Well, they didn't, and they had no intention of casting them because it would have been just a pain in the ass to work with both of them.
It couldn't have been done. It would have been untenable.
Okay, so unbeknownst to them, the studio made an offer to Sam and Roseanne. Sam and Roseanne turned it down. Mm-hmm. They, and things worked out pretty well for Sam and Roseanne. But what happened was it increases the expectations of who are you gonna cast. We could have had Sam and Roseanne. So all right, so when they bring the casting to the big casting session, and Barry Diller's there, who's just the head honcho, very bright, smart, educated, tough businessman, and they read all the parts and they prove Garrison, they prove Katie, and they prove kids, and so on and so forth. So they get to Ed O'Neill, and Ed O'Neill does a scene. He walks out, and all of the Fox's casting people and the studio casting people said, I think he's really good. And Diller says, I think you can do better. I don't really, I'm not, it's not really moving me. And he says, but do what you want. And he walks out of the room. So they all consult and they say, we're going to hire him. So Diller gets back to, Garth Ancir, who was working for Diller, gets back to his office, and Diller calls him and says, what'd you do? And Garth says, we hired Ed. And Diller says, well, I said I didn't like him. And Garth says, yeah, but you said do what you want. And Diller says, well, I didn't mean it. And so what then happened was the show, as an incentive to work for Fox, they gave him 13 on the air instead of the traditional pilot. Mm-hmm. Episode, you do a pilot and then you're tossed in with all the other pilots, in order to work for Fox. And so they changed the deal from they said, if you can stay with Ed O'Neill, but if you do, it's now a pilot with an option for 12 instead of 13 on
Guaranteed.
the air.
Yeah.
So
that's a big deal.
Big deal. And Glenn Padnick, bless him, he was the head of the studio, and then later on he was the head of the studio that created Seinfeld. He said, we're sticking with Ed O'Neill. So we went into that pilot not knowing whether we had a series.
Yeah, you chose to gamble.
And we chose to gamble, and the gamble paid off. And that's, I mean, Ed knew a little bit that Barry Diller didn't like him, but he didn't know actually until he read the book how deep it went. And he said later on he was working on a movie or something. Diller came up to him and he said, I was wrong about you. And Ed just said dryly, well, we all make mistakes, Barry.
Was Katie Seagal married to that douchebag drummer husband of hers back then?
She was married, and I don't know who she was married to. She certainly wasn't married to the guy she is married to now. But there was a Jack White and
Jack White.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah,
total douche.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Rick Springfield's drummer. And when I went to her house to work on her house, he was a douche. And then she was nice, but he was a douche.
Yeah.
And then later on, I was like interviewing Rick Springfield. And I was like, your drummer, that guy a douche? And he's like, yeah. I'm like,
Confirmed.
oh, okay, confirmed. So it wasn't just me. But I think they ended up calling it off.
And then Christina Applegate and Faustino dated during the show, right?
I don't think so.
No? Oh, I thought they did.
No. The story with them is there were two other people cast and shot in the pilot.
Oh boy!
As the kids, and when we cut the whole thing together, they were okay, but they just weren't strong. And the show is so rude and so over the top that you just felt bad for the kids, and you wanted to feel bad for the parents as you do.
Right.
I mean, the same thing with hiring Katie. You didn't want to feel sorry for her. Sometimes you even felt sorry for Al.
Right.
So we went out and recast the kids. And Christina had not wanted to do it. She thought it was too rude and too crude. And we sent her the pilot, and she saw it, and she loved it. And she came back in, and we reshot the scenes with the kids, edited into the pilot.
Wow.
And so there are two kids out there, Tina Caspary and Hunter Carson, who were perfectly fine.
Back to the Future.
No, I mean, listen, I've done sitcom pilots. It'll literally you spend 6 months casting them. You shoot the pilot, in front of a live audience. 10 minutes after the pilot's done, a couple executives and getting us in. We're like, all right, we gotta get rid of that kid. This kid's gone.
We just shot it.
He's gone. All right, who else? I mean, literally, the kid comes out, does the introduction, the applause thing at the end. My kid did a fake baseball home run swing. It's like this 10-year-old kid came out and did, whoa, hit out of the park. And then as soon as we're done, it's like, all right, who's going to tell me he's gone?
What's the expression? Not so fast.
Not so fast.
Home run swing.
A home run swing.
Oh, God.
And that kid was gone 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, and they go, all right, we'll get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Well, it's one thing to do the walkthrough or the read through or the table reads or whatever, but when you do it in front of a live audience, it's like playing football. We're not scrimmaging in shorts. This is game time, speed. And the guy in the shorts and the t-shirt doing 7-on-7 drill, you go, that guy's got a good arm and good motion stuff. Got to get in the game.
Yeah.
Got to have the lights on. Got to have the crowd. Got to have the outside backer blitzing. Then you'll see.
You can always simulate
what
so
they
much.
do. You know what I mean? And when they go out and it's just not there in front of a live crowd, you don't go, well, there's another game next week. Let's see if he's got practice. You just go, he doesn't have it. Oh, that guy's not going to do it.
And it's exactly the same thing with the script. Looks on the page, oh man, that's a killer joke, that's a killer joke. You get out there, nothing, crickets, and then you gotta, fortunately in the form, and it's no longer out there, people aren't doing live sitcoms, or not too many, you have backup jokes. You put them in, or you think up. You sit around. The writers sit around while during the audience performance, and you think of something right on the spot, and you put it back in, and you get a laugh or you don't.
Yeah,
alts, exactly.
Yeah, it's a real cutthroaty thing, and then someone got to tell the kids, like, they tell them that night. You know what I mean?
They just moved out here.
The kid's from Canada. Told everyone in Canada, suck his dick, and then he left. Now he's coming back. We had a kid come from Canada that we canned, too. Yeah.
Oh, is that right?
Well, we had Lloyd, Braun, and...
Susan Berman?
Yeah, Berman and Braun, and they wouldn't listen to a fucking thing we said. And we were like, I don't think this kid's good. I'm thinking they'd be like, we said he's good. And then they'd come in and suck. And then when they were done, they'd go, all right, he's not good. Who cares? You know, they didn't go like this was on us. But they made a lot of shit decisions, but because they're hubris, you know what I mean? And we would sort of tell them all the time, like, hey, I don't think too fast. Like, we had the guy who played my son. I'll give you an example. Oh, shit.
Skylar Astin? Was that
Skylar Astin.
Okay.
Skylar Astin's
huge
great.
Star now, yeah.
No, star. No, huge star. But I like Skylar a lot, right? And I said, we were casting, trying to find my son, right? And we finally, my stepson.
Okay.
And we found Skylar Astin. And he read, and after a lot of looking... in front of, you do the reading in front. It's the most unnatural thing on the planet, but it's the worst. But you do it in front of the network, and you do it in front of the producers or whatever, right?
Right.
All right, so here's how television works. You ready? We have the read. At the end of the read, Skylar walks off. And the network and the producers or wherever, they go, I like it. I like it. You like it. I like it. We all like it. All right, look, we like this guy. And then I raise my hand. And I go, I like him too, but Skylar Astin is a kind of a well-built, decent-sized guy who's supposed to be playing my 19-year-old stepson. And Pam Adlon is the mom, and she's petite. Youngish looking and petite. Mm-hmm. And it may not be feasible. People might not buy that that's her son. It looks like it's her boyfriend or something like that. And everyone sort of looked at me and went like, all right, we'll give it a thing. And then everyone left. And then Lloyd Braun turned around and said, shut up. Never talk. If they sign off on everything, that's the best day you're ever going to have from these people. So don't raise your hand and start spouting off. Right. And I said, well, I'm sorry, but I'm the star of the show, and I created the show, and I like the guy, but I think he's going to look too old for Pam Adlon's daughter. And then we shot the pilot. Is everyone sitting down? Everyone seated?
I am.
Yeah. Guess what the feedback was? He seems too old for her daughter. Guess what Lloyd said to me? Nothing, because that's
I was wrong.
That's how. No,
sorry,
there's
Adam.
none of that. No, they moved right on.
Face.
Then we moved right on to the Canadian kid, who's like they hired him, and Kevin Hench, the guy I wrote it with, said to Lloyd and Berman Braun, he said, "We've never met this kid. Like, I don't know if he can do this. This is a video sent in from Montreal. Like, we got to meet this guy." And they said, "Shut up, listen to us." That kid came in, played the son, laid an egg. And then as soon as we were done, Berman and Braun were like, yeah, we got to fire the kid. And Hench was like, hello, wasn't I the one who said, shut up?
God.
Moving on to the next thing. That's how they roll. A lot of hubris, never wrong, and bad instincts.
Right.
And that's why sitcoms are dead now.
What was there a gag on Married with Children that the executives just, a particular one that you could think of that just the executives just were so upset about, or that barely made it on?
There was a joke in the pilot that got cut, and we were told, one of the incentives was 13 on the air. One of the incentives was no censorship, but they ended up censoring a joke that they went to the wall for, and it's in the middle of the pilot, and Katie is off in the kitchen with and talking to Marcy, and they're talking about PMS, and Katie's trying to corrupt Marcy, which is part of the whole premise. And Katie says, do you get PMS? And Marcy says no, and Katie says, well, get it, as like that. Right. That's a tool. So then you cut to the couch, and Al is doing the same with Steve, corrupting Steve, and his PMS joke is, you can't tell women anything, and they go through these, they always win the fights and so on and so forth. And he says it's this whole PMS thing, and he says, I'm no doctor, but I think that PMS stands for pummel men's scrotums.
Oh, that's funny. And they cut it.
And they went to the wall on that particular joke.
That'd be a meme today.
There's also you didn't. The worst is when you have a stupid executive, right? And then so what happens is the note comes back down, and they go, we got to cut the Burning Man joke. And then I go, why? That's a good joke. And they go, Nancy Tellem doesn't know what Burning Man is. And I go, okay, well, she's a middle-aged idiot who's not funny. And they go, just cut it. Just come on, throw her a bone. And I go, it's a great reference about my characters telling Skylar Astin, take your Pegasus to Burning Man and smoke your pot or whatever. And she's like, but Nancy Tellem doesn't know what Burning Man is. And I go, okay, but that's not our fault. She doesn't fucking know anything. Go tell her we're keeping it. Just take it out, throw her a bone. And so you end up throwing dumb people bones because you have a lackluster, shitty sitcom because somebody in the corner office doesn't get a reference. And when they don't get references, nobody goes, oh, you should get that reference. They go, yeah, no, boss, I get it. You never heard of it? Me neither. Going back downstairs.
And your reference is what your audience is going to respond to.
Yes. I think it's safe to say that most people have heard of Burning Man. Now, this is, 13 years ago, but it was one person who didn't know what it was, and then we were supposed to cut it in deference to her stupidity.
Right.
That's how the system, that's why the sitcom system got kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah, too many cooks.
Too many cooks and or chiefs. Well, let me give the book a plug. Okay. Here it is. Married with Children versus the World. We got pictures in here, too?
Yeah, there's pictures.
Oh, good. Something I can sink my teeth into. It's got pictures. The inside story of the shock-com that launched Fox and changed TV comedy forever. Thank you. It's a good read. I think people are going to like it. Thank you, Richard.
All right. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thanks for letting me vent.
All right.
Jilly Bartlett, thank you. Mark Geragos, thank you. Levittown, New York Governors doing stand-up shows there June 28th and 29th. Come on out. 3 shows. First time I've ever been to Governors. Go down to Carolla for all the live shows. Until next time, stand up Carolla for Jilly and Mark and Richard and Chris saying mahalo.